ILTV Plus, your news from Israel and more 24/7. Start your free trial today. Subscribe at ILTV.tv and watch from any device.
The capital of Beirut under fire over the weekend. Pro-Hezbollah forces attempting to pressure the judge investigating last year's explosion at the Beirut port. At least half a dozen people were killed during these so-called protests, with many Lebanese reminded of their bloody sectarian civil war fought between 1975 and 1990.
So this demonstration aim was that to make more pressure on the judge and on the opposition. The fact that it finished with lots of blood, it is more complication for the case. Because now they will use this discourse that now Lebanon is in danger of a civil war just because there is a judge who wants to do his work correctly.
For more, IDF Major in the reserves, Danny Citrinowicz, returns. Major, thanks for being with us. Is this the beginning of a civil war in Lebanon, or perhaps a break that leads to positive change?
Of course, in Lebanon, you can never know. But let's talk a little bit why those riots happened. What happened really the last couple of days. For Hezbollah, the most important thing is preserving the political system that he built in the last 10 years in Lebanon. For him, it's crucial. He's using... Yes, exactly. He's actually taking advantage of puppet government that enables him to control Lebanon without being accountable for Lebanon's problems. Now, Hezbollah fears that the explosion in Beirut, especially the investigation, is going to blame him. At the end of the day, we're going to challenge him politically after we worked so long to establish the legitimate government. That's why for Hezbollah it's crucial. So our assessment is that if Hezbollah will blame for the explosion in Beirut, Hezbollah will take any action he needed in order to counter it. So I think a lot of it is dependent on what will happen from the investigation. But on a broader term, it's important to say that the stability in Lebanon is a fake one. At the end of the day, behind this stability, Hezbollah continue building its false buildup. So those people, countries that think that the stability, now we have a new government and so forth, is really the solution for Lebanese problems, is mistaken. Those countries are mistaken. At the end of the day, Hezbollah will continue controlling behind the scenes and will challenge everyone that will challenge his political dominance in the Lebanese political system.
So all of that said, then, isn't it possible, because again, of the 19 or so people who were arrested during the course of the clashes in Beirut, they haven't said from which faction they really come from. So isn't it possible that it was either a Sunni or even a Christian faction in Lebanon that goaded Shia Hezbollah into violence in order to undermine them and their power?
Yeah, that's probably a possibility. I'll emphasize one more thing regarding that. Hezbollah also control behind the scene Lebanese army, Lebanese police, and so forth. So the chances that someone will blame Hezbollah for the riot, meaning someone formally saying that it was Hezbollah to blame, the chances are very slim because the Lebanese system, the Lebanese political system, is really controlled, hijacked by Hezbollah. So what we will see or what we will hear is something that is actually not connected to the truth whatsoever. So we shouldn't believe any formal statement coming from the Lebanese police or the Lebanese armed forces, because at the end of the day, they are controlled behind the scene by Hezbollah, and they cannot challenge Hezbollah itself. So that's the main reason that let's take those statements with a grain of salt.
Major Citrinowicz, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.